SAFM.
John Carney is with me, and I want to ask you, so how many years to go? Are you ever going to retire?
One of the movies I did, I think it was about 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, was called The Tichborne Claimant. It was set in England in 1763. I play a screwy butler who manages to screw the Tichbornes out of £12 million. Their son died, but I found a lout somewhere who looks like the son, and I said, no, he was with me. When we have to go to court to the Old Bailey, and they'd cast Sir John Gielgud just before he died. He walked on set 94, sat down as a judge. He had a long summation. We had what we call idiot boards,
I don't know exactly
large
what you
font,
mean.
because we knew we could even look
It's
at the
not
teller
this,
thing.
yes.
He said, I'm an actor for crying out loud. I still remember my lines.
Well, that's what I believe you guys did. You and Robert Whitehead. You went
Yes.
and learned your lines.
Yes, we went to learn the lines. It's such an important process, almost takes away the joy of performance, the creative process. When we unpack the
Discipline,
text
yeah.
and look at each word and find out what is it. The research compound when we did Congo,
Yes.
the trial of Leopold.
Correct.
You know, it was a fantastic process because we were finding words, and someone would come in and people would say, they would say, I found this paragraph, looked at it. And then we look at it, we say, we can put it there because we're making the work out of an interview by Mark Twain in 1909 when he interviewed King Leopold II of Belgium, who actually owned Congo as a private property, like his car, his garden, his shirt, his everything. It only became part of the colony of Belgium after his death by Act of Parliament. Before then, it was his own. 25 million people were killed, decimated during his 20-year reign. And that is a genocide that we speak very little of, because the people concerned, it's like the world moving only after so many months in Burundi and Rwanda, when they knew what was happening and they didn't move. And they, in the time of Leopold, they couldn't move because he had the rubber and copper, which they needed for the Industrial Revolution, for the electrification of every part of their economy.
So there is that kind of work, and then there's the kind of work that I don't know what is it in the person that says, yes, it's okay, it's time. When you then expose your own story to the rest of the world, when you start thinking, okay, it's time to tell my own story, when you penned your own play that spoke about your brother and so on, was that a tough decision?
Basically, in the first, I'm a storyteller. I come from a long line of these old ladies and grandmothers and grandfathers. Our grandfathers really were busy trying to make us men and work in the fields and do this, be responsible, don't cry, be strong. There's a struggle out there. You must be prepared to do this. The job of handing over the cultural legacy and history of this family, this community, this tribe, these people, was always left to the right people who were the historians, our grandmothers and mothers. So they told us stories. So when I joined the Seven Players in 1965, I wanted to Arthur Fugard to mentor me as a writer. That was my idea. But then, as we were creating each work on our own, there was another role left in the creation. Said, okay, you take that one. Okay, you take that one. But in 1972, Winston Jonah and I, my late brother, created Caesar Barnes is Dead. That then shifted the focus from the writer to the actor. Winning the Tony Award on Broadway in 1975 was just picking up something and go home until I got back to my dressing room that I realized this thing is big.
Did you know then how big it was?
No.
No.
What do I know about a Tony Award? I'm from New Brighton, Port Elizabeth. We were like, won it and then created history because the battle was between, I won it for Caesar Barnes is Dead, Winston won it for The Island.
Yes.
So what do? Do they give one or not the other? So the Tony Award organization decided we're going to award them both in one night. So it's not half-hitting it. Then from there on, the actor got out of hand with the world offers all over the round, theater and television and all. But the important thing then, there comes a time when I think, hold it. There's something in me that there's a story I need to tell. There's an urgency of a situation I need to talk about. That's when I use the movie, you see. We make good money, and they say, I'm not going to work the next 3 months because I'm writing. And that's where movies come in. And you've got to control, otherwise you're going to be in everything that's happening. And there must be a time you say no. I always fight with my agents. They're looking for you. They're doing this thing. It's about this gorilla coming down the mountains. I said, no, I'm not available. Says, yes, you are. I know you're doing nothing. I said, no, because I'm not doing anything you see. I'm thinking about the next project. I need time.
You know, you raise such an important point, because a great mentor of mine said to me a long, long time ago that if, as a creative, you don't find time to think, you will never ever realize your full potential. Never.
Because you're full of the noise around you. Everybody's telling you you're a superstar. Everybody's telling you you're great. People are seeing you, are talking. People are happening. Someone's written a new play. There's a new movie coming out. These things are bombarding you. You need to take a break and say, stop. I'm done with it for this 6 months. You must, of course, do a movie before it. Make a little bit of money before.
Yes,
because the family is not going to understand this doing nothing.
It was an important thing for you, though, when you're at the time when your father recognized that you are now working, you're not playing, you're not fooling around. That meant a lot to you.
It meant a lot, indeed. In fact, I started in 1972 when I gave up my job and went on to become an actor. Him unable to explain this, saying, yeah, my son is a carpenter, my son is Reverend Kane, my daughter is a teacher, my other son is an accountant. John is the one, he's always away.
Doing something.
He's busy with this thing he's doing, you know. So
couldn't put the words to it. He couldn't call you a working man.
No, it was in 1985. I came back from New York. He loved his Red Hot rum. And I would buy him from duty free a whole liter of Red Hot rum. And I would give him, and I got home. He was sitting with his friends. I said, oh, you're back, Jan? I said, yes, I'm back. I put it down there. And he looks around and he says, guys, this is my son, John Gani, the actor.
What did that mean to you?
He died 3 months later. The words came out of his mouth. He formed it. He believed it. He accepted it. He understood that this is not just play spiritually. This is something he does because he believes in it. And as my mother always said to him, why are you bothering John? I've never seen him so happy. That's enough for me. And that was the most, if you talk about highlights in my career, is that moment in February 1985 when he said, this is my son, John Canning, the actor.
And he died.
And he died. And that's, I still remember that. So you've got to find time for yourself. You've got to find time for family, for instance. You know, just to see the wife, to see the children, the grandchildren. They're all over. I've got 7 children and 8 grandchildren. They're running all over the place, not in my house, away from my house, and where they belong. You know, and then they come and see me. You watch that gate. Because when my daughters and my son come home with all the children, they watch the gate. As you crazy about the grandchildren, they're gone out of the gate.
They leave you with the grandchildren?
Yes, watch the gate, hold the remote. I told them that when my youngest son turned 21, Oakum, I told him, now I have my girlfriend back.
Oh.
The one I married a long time ago and gave birth to all of you. Now you're all gone. So we now have my girlfriend back. Me and my wife are now boyfriend and girlfriend. We ask, what are we doing tonight? And sometimes the answer is nothing. I'm thinking, no, I'm here. Use me. Let's do many things. She says, no, nothing. I said, can we go out for dinner? She said, I've already cooked. Listen, don't cook tomorrow because we're going out.
Is that what's keeping you young? The spirit of what are we doing next? That you haven't decided to just be. I mean, when I see the two of you, I think that's it. It's this zest for life.
Look, I don't know if one ever gets to a point of complete gratification, complete thing. You don't. I mean, people say, look, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I direct, I produce, but still there are certain areas that I feel I haven't touched that got nothing to do with awards.
What is that?
So many stories to be told. You are aware when you reach a certain age of the urgency of the given situation around you. I'm amazed at the lackadaisical attitude of our politicians and people who are in business about like this, there will be many other tomorrows.
No crisis.
You know, I remember talking to my good friend, former President Thabo Mbeki, it was about, we both turned about 65, something. And I said, you know, I'm worried about the youth. He said, why? I said, these guys are learned and they are graduates and they are qualified. If we don't meet their needs now, in another 10 years, they'll be the opposition. They'll be the strongest opposition to what this government or to what we want to do. And you think about it, now when you see a service delivery protest, which is not really service delivery, it's being let down by our democracy that did not deliver freedom. When you see these things, it's not that. You used to get a person, the newsreader would translate, this is what he says. Now the person who tells us is articulate, incredibly clear, and incredibly fed up, which means we as elders have missed that gap we could have used to meet the needs of young people so they become the leaders of tomorrow. They're not going to become that without our intervention.
What do we do now?
We're not late. That's why it's just that we haven't got time to play games with this and that and inquest and then the inquiry. We get to the point immediately. What is the point? Youth employment. What do we do? Find the money, invest, and then get the people, young people, as entrepreneurs. Or don't tell them to be what. Ask them. They know exactly what they want. I mean, I'm laughing now. I'm watching the news left of my eye. It says that the Bank of England has downgraded the growth to 1.3 per annum. We freak out with 2 or 3.
SAFM.